So we've got a Mercury 90 Optimax here. This is the 3-cylinder, and we're just going to go through some servicing of this engine. So on this Mercury Optimax 3-cylinder, 90 horsepower, we're going to do the gearbox now. To do the gearbox, or the water pump on the gearbox, we're going to have to remove the lower unit. Before we do that, we're going to take the prop off. So we'll just bend back the two tabs inside of here on this Mercury Spitfire prop. We'll then lock the prop with a bit of wood against the lower ventilation plate, and we can take this nylon nut off, and then there's a spacer and everything. We can take the prop off. We'll probably take the trim anode off. It probably doesn't have to come off, looking at the plate here and the bolt, but I like to just make sure we've got everything off and we're not hanging up. And then I can see 4 bolts around the back there. There may be another one inside of here. I'm not too sure yet until we take off the anode. But the anode's looking alright, so we might just leave the anode in place. But I think just to cover all our bases, we're going to take the bolts off that we can see and the prop. I believe this engine, there's no shift linkage coupling nut, it's just a spline, so we'll leave it in neutral. And we should be able to take out the bolts with the engine in neutral, lower the lower unit off, and that'll give us access to the water pump. So trim anode's off. As you can see, there's no hidden bolts inside of there. And what I did do on the anode and on the case, I put a line with a permanent marker. So when I put it back together, I know that it all goes in the same place. Got another bolt here, probably a 5/8 as well. I think all the ones on the lower side are 5/8. This one looks like it definitely does go into the case. So at the moment, we've got 4 bolts, 2 on this side, 2 on the other, and 1 under here. Pretty sure that's it. I have seen things online referencing there's 6 bolts, but I don't know where that other bolt would be, even if there is one. The only other place it could be is inside this anode housing, but I don't see that being the case. Let's say I've not done an Optimax water pump before, but I've done enough outboard engines to know sometimes they put hidden bolts. Another thing to be careful of if you are doing it, there is a water pickup tube here for a speedo. That's been disconnected though, so we haven't got any problems worrying about that. Obviously you do have to have the engine trimmed up because the power shaft from the head has to come all the way down, and then we'll throw it in the workbench there, give us easy access to the water pump, which is around about just above where the anode is there in this block section, but obviously on the lower leg. So taking the prop out, I've got the big socket on there, the bit of wood bracing against the ventilation plate, and the tip that just stops the prop from rotating. I've seen people put it in gear to do that, and you're trying to lock the bit. You're basically trying to bar the engine over, and it's not good practice to do that because you can damage. You're overloading the gearbox and everything like that. So you're best off just bracing it and then undoing that nut. Not forgetting about the 2 little locking tabs that is in behind that nylon nut. So we'll take that off, pull the prop off, and just makes it a little bit lighter and easier to handle. So we got it off there. A little tip: put the little nut back on just to protect the thread end. So if you do damage that, it could be in some big bother. So just spin the nut back down just to protect the end of the thread so you can't damage it. So I've taken those 4 bolts out, slackened them right off. We've taken the one out from inside of here, and I've just given it a few taps with a mallet, and you can see we're breaking the seal here. We're hanging at the back a little bit. In there you can see the shift shaft, that spline shaft there. So we are hanging at the back here, so I'm going to give some taps at the back and just shake the engine a bit, and hopefully we can get it broken free at the back there. We are coming away at the front, but it's quite a weight, so we'll just work at it. What I'll do is I'll take out all 3 bolts, leave 1 in as a safety, and we'll just keep tapping away at it. We're just using a soft face mallet and a bit of wood, nothing too mad because it's aluminium and you will break it. So just go tapping lightly. Hopefully I haven't got a seized power shaft or shift shaft. A little tip: when you are reinstalling, don't put the lube, well, put the lube on the splines but not on the top, because you can sometimes hydraulically lock the shaft in. Very rare, but it can happen. So we'll get it out and I'll get it in the bench and I'll show you the water pump. Alright, so we got the gearbox off the engine there. What we're looking at here is the power shaft, and we've got this shift coupling, which is the same as this. It's got a spline, and instead of it going up and down like the smaller engines, it rotates. Obviously we've got a seal on there, and this is the bit we've come to look at, is the water pump, held on with 4 bolts. Could be M10 possibly. We'll take them off, change the water pump. We've got some gaskets, housing stays behind, and this here is where the pickup tube, so that's the water outlet. We've got the water inlet, and in here somewhere is where the pickup tube is. I believe it's, you can't really see it, but there's a pipe there, and there's a hole there. That's for, well, there's your water pickup tube. That's your drive shaft, that's your shift shaft there. There's a small bushing on there, which we can put over there. All 4 M10 bolts are out. So now we can lift off this upper cover and reveal the impeller. So I'll do that now, just in case of sliding that off, and we'll have a look at what we've got in there. We've got the impeller, we've got a woodruff key, and we'll have some gaskets. There is a seal on top which you might have to pry off. It won't just lift off, so just use a flat blade underneath and then just shimmy it off, and then this cover will slide up. So I'll slip that off, and what we've got is we've got the woodruff key that locks the impeller to the shaft. There's the cutout where it sits. So you see the wear plate, we've got a gasket. We've got the outer housing, we've got the inner wear ring, and we have the impeller, which is what we're going to change, along with the gaskets. The outer housing stays behind, and it's one of those things that outer cup doesn't come with a kit. It's an accessory part, but 9 times out of 10 it's the impeller that wears out before this bit. If you weren't running in brackish water, a lot of salt, sediment, or like sand, then I'd replace this earlier as well. But at the moment it's looking alright, the impeller's looking in good condition. I can't see anything missing, the vanes look alright, but we'll go ahead and replace it all, and then we'll grease the splines there and on the shift shaft, and then we'll get it back together. So what we've got to do now is we've got to take this plate off. We've got an upper and lower gasket, so we'll just slide that off. It might need prying off a bit, and we've got an under seal, and we've got this top gasket which seals the water pump. Now unfortunately the one that I've got it's split. I don't know why. It arrived like that, it's been cut. But I've got some compounds. We'll put this in. I'll put some sort of silicone over that bit as well. I mean, this has a lip on it, so it'll do the job. If not, probably better than that, because you can see that red bit is like a silicone inlay. So all I'm doing is filling in the gaps there. We're not going to reuse these gaskets because they do get compressed, as you can see. It's all compressed. And what we'll have to do is clean up down here. There's a bit of salt, but I've got some clutch cleaner, and we'll just spray it in there and clean all that up, and we'll get the impeller out and we'll lock it to the shaft. Okay, so I've cleaned up the faceplate here. Faceplate is in good condition. You can see where the impeller's been running. There's no burr or groove. It's just been polished. We've got the new gasket down, making sure we've got the holes in the right place, and then run down this one. And then unfortunately we've got the broken one, which I'm gonna put some silicone down on as well, because I'm not too happy that it's been supplied like that, but it's too late. The lead time on it's too long to get a replacement one with the engine in this condition, and I haven't got time to come back, so we're going to make the best of what we got. We're going to put it on, we're going to put the silicone compound on, and it'll probably be better than what it was. It's not ideal, but it's going to be sealed either way. As I say, we've got a lip all around there. We could just put the silicone on there and do away with that gasket, but I'm going to utilise what we've got. Okay, so we've got that on there. RTV underneath, we're just making sure we haven't covered any of the holes. I know there's a bit of spillage, but the cup's going to cover that up. I'll clean it up. I've got a bit on there as well. Not so much bothered about there, but I'll just go with a blade now and I'll just clean up the edges, but you get the idea. I've sealed it. You know, it's going to do the job. It's got a cup over there anyway, and the compression will hold it. The bolts are all lined up, so we're all good. So got it fairly well cleaned up. I'm just conscious that if you get too much on there, overspill, it can go into the coolant passages, but there's so little on there now that you're probably more worried about sand going in than actual the silicone. We get the impeller on. There's the old one that came out. It's in really good condition. That's the orientation it was sitting in as well. So yeah, get the woodruff key on, slip the new impeller over, get that housing on, the 4 bolts, clean this, the shaft, then we can put it back on the engine. So that's the impeller back in. It was quite hard to try and film it and push it in, but basically you slide the impeller down, you've got the woodruff, slide the impeller over that, which is already in the recess, and then what I like to do is I like to just try and push down on the housing, and the blades will conform to sort of that position, and then you can drop the bolts in. A little bit trickier with the gasket being split. I had to sort of use the bolts as sort of like alignment tool, but we got them in. I'll tighten these down now. We'll put we had that little seal that goes over the top there to seal the top of the pump, and like I say, then we'll grease everything. Light greasing. This has had a good amount of grease on it. It's well lubricated, nothing's dry, and then we can get it back into the engine. There we have it. That's it, ready to go back in. And putting it back in, it can be a little bit tricky just with the weight, but it's pretty much the same as it coming out. If it comes out, it'll go in a little bit easier. The shaft may have moved, which can be an issue, but all you have to do is withdraw it 1/8 of a turn on the shaft, maybe. It's literally just one little move. Ensure this is still in neutral. We know it's in neutral because the controller's in neutral, and we just have to make sure that when it goes back together that this output shaft is free turning. We don't hear any grinding or clinking noises, because this can jump. It shouldn't jump, but before we bolt it back up, because then we have to take it all apart again. So just to bear in mind. And then normally what I like to do is I like to put it in and get 1 bolt on, so I know it's not going to fall off, and then we can do our checks. Worst case, we just have to take 1 bolt back out instead of 5. So we'll cut back to when we've got it back in, and I'll let you know if we have any issues putting it in. So there we have it. The gearbox lower unit is back on after the water pump impeller change. Just got the prop to put back on. No problems, everything was aligned. The power shaft didn't jump out of alignment, neither did the shift shaft. So, fairly straightforward. Hopefully that's it's helped. I know the lighting's not too good in this barn, but hopefully it comes out better on a bigger screen. But there we go, that's the impeller change and lower unit removal on a Mercury Optimax 3-cylinder 90 horsepower.